Hi everyone, this is Azeez. In previous class, we have seen about the placement of the chessboard and what are the standing lines, sleeping lines, and the slanting lines. And also, we have seen the square names, how to identify the squares names. So now we are going to learn about the pieces names and pieces movements and also the pieces value. So let's see the chess pieces. Have a look at these pieces and you can see two little pieces to pawn. The small one is pawn, PAWN pawn, and you can see the uh, piece which looks like a tower or castle. So it is a rook. So we call rook. And generally, when I was kid, I used to call elephant. But later, when I participate in chess tournaments, and there I learned that it is not a elephant. It is not an elephant. It is called the rook. Okay. And next one you can see the piece looks like horse holding the sword. So it is we should not call horse. And this is called knight, KNIGHT knight, and K is silence. Next one you can see bishop. It's called bishop, and don't say camel. Bishop. And next one, the powerful piece, queen, and the next one is king. Very important piece in chess. And let's see how to uh, place these chess pieces during the start of the game and also how these chess pieces moves. Let's see. You can see the chessboard here. So you can see all the pieces and their placements. And this is a rook. We have already seen the different piece and it's a rook. And you can see the rooks in the corners. And next to the rook, it's knight. Two knights. And next to the knight, it's bishop. You can see two bishops. And lot of starters, when they are arranging the coins, they get confused that where do we have to place the queen and where do we have to place the king. So remember, the white queen always in the white square. Queen likes her own color. So white queen in white, and also you can see the black queen in black. Okay, and next to the queen, it's king. So to identify the chess king and queen, it's very simple. You can see a plus shape symbol at the top of the piece, and the queen looks like octopus. Yeah, don't call it octopus, it's a queen. Okay, so the king and the queen done. And the little soldiers, the pawns, protects the kingdom. You can see 8 pawns placed in the second rank. For black also same thing, the black pawns protects the black's kingdom. So I hope you understood how to place the chess pieces, and let's see how these chess pieces move. Let's see about the rook. You can see in this position there is a rook, white rook, and the rook moves only in the standing direction and sleeping direction. Okay, so like in chess terminology, you can say rook moves in files and ranks. It can move back also. Okay, so it captures the enemy pieces in the same direction. If any piece, for example, there is a black pawn, let me show you. There is a black pawn over here. On let's say this square name is d7, right? Yeah. So there is a pawn on d7. Now the rook happily can capture the pawn. Okay. And now let me show you one more. You can see there is a black pawn over here, and there's a black pawn over here, and there's a black pawn over here. You tell me, the rook can capture any pawn here? No way. No way. You can see this is the standing pattern and this is the sleeping pattern. There is no pawn in this direction, so rook cannot capture any pawn now. But to capture these pawns, it can take two moves. It can take two moves. So first you can move the rook b7 and you can capture. In the next move you can capture the b3 pawn. Done. So in two moves you can capture the pawn. And you can also see here e4 pawn. So to capture this e4 pawn, first you need to move the rook on e7 square, and in the next move you can take it. So it takes 2 moves to capture it, not 1 move. Okay, you cannot capture like this. Oh, it's not possible. It's not standing and this is not sleeping direction. Okay, I hope it's clear how to move the rook. And let's see how to move the bishop. You can see generally there are 2 bishops in chess. Okay, and 2 bishops are placed in 2 different squares. One is in light square, the another one is in dark square. So, sorry, the dark square bishop moves only in the dark squares. Done. The dark square bishop moves only in the dark squares. You can see the pattern also, it's like a X. And the light square bishop moves only in the light squares up to the last. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is the diagonal, like X, same. Light square bishop moves in light squares, the dark square bishop moves only in the dark squares. Both the bishops never meets, and also never meets means cannot come to the other diagonal. So here light square bishop is there, it cannot go to this diagonal. Okay, and the dark square bishop is there, it cannot go to the light square. Not possible. That's not possible. Okay, and the bishop captures in their own direction. So this is the X path, right? The diagonal direction. So if any opponent's piece is in this direction, if any opponent's piece is there in this direction, now let's see. There is one black pawn. You can see there are 4 black pawns, and you can see this dark square bishop can capture only this dark square pawn. Done. And you cannot capture this dark square pawn, and you cannot capture this dark square pawn. It is not possible. Okay, you can capture only the a7 pawn in diagonal direction. Done. Okay, next. Let me give you one more example with the bishop. For example, there is a bishop and there is a black pawn over here. Now you tell me, the bishop moves only in the diagonal direction, so it is in light square. Now the black pawn is also in light square. Is it possible to take this pawn, black pawn means? No, you cannot. It is standing pattern, standing path. So to take this pawn, what do we have to do? It's in light square. So in this diagonal where you want to move the bishop to reach this light square pawn. It's simple. If you move here, no, it's not possible. If you move here, yeah. When you move the bishop to b5, now you can see this direction. Okay, so we have to play bishop b5. Now in the next move, you can take the black pawn. Understand? So now let's see about the piece queen. Very, very powerful piece in chess. Queen moves in standing direction, sleeping direction, and also diagonal direction, like a combination of rook and bishop. It moves in this direction up to anywhere. Okay, because that's why it's powerful piece in chess. And you can also see queen is moving up to anywhere, and like you can see the shape, it looks like a coronavirus. Okay, so it's moving anywhere up to anywhere, any side up to anywhere. I'm sorry. Yeah. And next one is the king. King moves only one step, any side only one step, because king is a I'm kidding, king is a old man, but it has a huge knowledge. Okay, so king can move only one step, any side, and it captures the enemy pieces in the same direction, one direction. Okay, so queen also, of course, queen also captures the enemy pieces in the same direction, how it moves. And king also, it captures the enemy pieces in the same direction. For example, let me show you. There is a black pawn over here. Now the king can happily capture it, a bishop. And let me show you one more example. There is a black pawn over here. Can the king take this pawn means? No, you cannot take the pawn, because it is 2 moves, right? 1, 2. So king can move only one step, any side can move back also. Let's see about the Small piece in chess. What is that? It's pawn. So how many pawns are there? 8 pawns. Yeah, for black also 8 pawns. And this is the correct placement of the pawns. I mean the second rank. The pawn stays in the second, white pawn stays in the second rank, and black pawn stays in the 7th rank. Let me tell you one thing. The pawn moves only one step. The pawn moves only one step in forward direction. Only one step in forward direction. That's it. And there are two special characters. The first thing, when the pawns are in initial position, this is the starting position of the pawns. When the pawns are in initial position, all the pawns can move one or two steps. What is the first special character? When the pawns are in starting line, all the pawns can go either one step or two steps. Okay, all the pawns. Don't get confused. Sir, first I moved this pawn one step and then I want to move this pawn two steps. Yeah, it is possible. And you can move this pawn two steps. Yeah, it is also possible. And if you want to move this pawn two steps, yeah, of course it is also possible. So all the pawns, when the pawns are in starting line, all the pawns can go two steps if you want. That's your wish. And the second special character is pawn captures the enemy piece in diagonal direction one step only. For example, white played two steps. It's possible, right? And black plays this g pawn two steps. It is also possible. And now you can see it is cross, isn't it? So you can take the black pawn. And now, if now it is black's move, right? So black is moving this pawn one step now. What you can do? You can a bishop. You can capture the black pawn. Okay. So pawn captures only in cross direction. It never captures in standing direction. Let me show you one example. White played this pawn two steps. Okay. And black played the h pawn two steps here. Now you can see both are in standing pattern. Is it possible to capture it? No. You cannot. You cannot. If you do so, it is called an illegal. So you cannot capture the enemy pieces in the straight direction. You can capture only in the cross direction when anybody comes in cross direction. For example, let me show you white played this and black played this. Now it is cross. So you can capture it happily. Done. That's your wish. If you want, you can capture it. You can press another one. I'm just saying how to move the pawns. Done. Now let's see the dangerous piece in chess. Can you guess what is the dangerous piece in chess? Yeah, it's knight. Okay, so let me teach you very simple. Knight, how to move the knight. Generally, there are four directions, right? Yeah, you all know east, west, north, south. Okay, let's see here. Top, left, bottom, right. So knight moves two steps straight in all the directions. I am not yet completed. Okay, knight moves two steps straight in all the directions and falls in the adjacent square. Done. Two steps straight in all the directions and falls in the adjacent square. Two steps straight in all the directions and falls in the adjacent square. Or you can also see perpendicular square. Okay. So let's see. The knight is here. Now 0, 1, 2, and where is 3? D7 or F7, left or right. Okay, and means knight jumps to D7 or knight jumps to F7. Okay, it jumps. See, listen, I am saying jump. Knight can jump. No other piece can jump in chess. Only the knight can jump. Let me show you one example. So you can see there are three black pawns, and we learnt knight moves in L shape. See, knight jumps in L shape. Knight moves in L shape. Knight jumps in L shape. So knight cannot take all these three pawns. Knight can capture only the D7 pawn. Understand? Knight can capture only the D7 pawn because it can jump over the pieces. Okay. And now there are some white pawns. Is it possible to move the knight or not? Yes, it is possible because knight can jump over the pieces. 0, 1, 2, 3. You can capture this d7 pawn happily. Okay, so I hope it's clear how to move the knight. And let me tell you one more thing, when your knight is in center, it can control 8 squares. When your knight is in center, it can control 8 squares. Let me show you. It is in dark square, going to this square. You only check, please. It's look like a propeller, like a flower. Yeah. So you can see knight is on dark square and it's going to light square. If it is in light square, it goes to dark square. Yeah. So I hope you all understood how to move the pieces. And again, I'm showing you how to arrange the chess pieces. You can see here. Make sure when you arrange the queen and king, queen stays in her own color, not the king. And next, the value of the chess pieces. Value of the chess pieces. Yeah, every piece has a value. When you go to market, everything has a value. Chocolates has value, biscuits has value, everything has a value. So similarly in chess also, every piece has a value. It doesn't mean that you need to purchase that piece with that value. In the game, the piece has that much power, I am saying. I mean, okay. So don't get confused. You can see here the piece values. Let me show you. You can see the pawn. Pawn carries only 1 point. 1 point. Because it's least one, small one. And it moves only one step. So one value, 1 point, okay. And rook value is 5. Yeah, it's bigger one. 5 points. 2 rooks are there. So each rook value is 5. Okay. And knight. Knight value is 3. Okay. You can see here. Knight value is 3. And it's not like because of knight jumps 3 steps. It's not like that. So the value of knight is 3. Okay. And bishop value is also 3. For knight and bishop, same value. Okay. And when you come to advanced chess, you can understand bishop is slight better than knight. Okay. And queen value is 9. Very powerful piece in chess. So queen value is 9. King, infinity and uncountable. Let's say 100 or 1000, whatever it may be. Because there's no chess without the king. Okay. So I hope you all understood about the piece movements and how to move the pieces. I mean, piece values and how to arrange the chess pieces. Yeah. Keep on watching our videos and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Thank you so much.